welcome back. I thought today would be a wonderful day to get all of those tomatoes out of my freezer. It is a rainy day on our farm. It is cool and it's a good day to heat up the kitchen with the wonderful smell of pasta sauce. And if you didn't know, as you pick those tomatoes out of your garden, just throw them in the freezer until you have enough or you have time. I have so many tomatoes and I've been waiting for a cool, nice day to do it. It was just too hot this summer to can pasta sauce. But today, if you can see, perfect day for canning pasta sauce. So let's do this. I have so many frozen tomatoes in my freezer and I need to get them out. I need that freezer space. I have cherry tomatoes. I have beef steak tomatoes. Look at the size of this. Isn't this massive? This will make really great pasta sauce, and I'm using the cherry tomatoes because I have them. I have Walmart bags full of cherry tomatoes. These need to be processed. I actually still have more tomatoes in my freezer and they'll probably stay there. But today I'm going to process all of these, and I would love to get an entire year's supply of pasta sauce. Nice, organic, veggie-filled pasta sauce. The sound of that makes my heart happy. I will just cut out those bad spots. There are a few bad spots on some, but mostly really good. I'm excited about it. I have out my huge stock pot to boil down all those tomatoes. I have all my spices and herbs over here ready to go. Some lemon juice. Meanwhile, my sweet little girls are over here making their own pasta sauce out of Play-Doh, and they're going to make all of the Italian food while Mommy cuts up these tomatoes and starts this process. And Miss Six really wanted to show you that she used her tomatoes to make a Play-Doh hamburger, and it's beautiful, so we're gonna let you see that right here. I love having my children in the kitchen with me in whatever capacity that is. I want to share with you my super easy process to peel as many of these tomatoes as I can. I take my frozen tomato, I score an X on it and drop it in boiling water. And that frozen tomato hitting that boiling water, the skin is just going to fall off. And that X just kind of makes it easy. Look at that. It just peels right off. Not a problem at all. And of course, these beef steak tomatoes are the easiest ones. And because the tomato is frozen, it's not going everywhere, all of those juices, because those beef steak tomatoes are full of water. So it's mostly still frozen. So I can peel that skin right off, chop it up without it going everywhere, and get those bad spots off. It's just not a problem. So I think really just keeping them frozen in this process is actually a good thing. Yeah, so get all those little bad spots off. Not too many, but a few imperfections. Look at that, how it just peels right off. I think this is the best method. So don't feel guilty if you have to throw those tomatoes in the freezer until you have time. That is okay. It's okay to throw them in the freezer. You don't have to do them straight out of the garden. While we always aim for that super freshness, I think this is actually easier. There they are. There's the beef steak tomatoes, phase 1, all peeled, ready to go. And now I'm going to chop them up. The cherry tomatoes are still waiting for my attention. Phase 2 of the beef steak tomatoes are in the hot water so I can get their skin off. And while I'm waiting for them to do their magic and that skin to start peeling, I'm going to chop up all of the tomatoes that I have ready to go. So see that frozen tomato? It's less messy, and I'm all about less mess. You can see how there's hardly even any juice coming out of them, and it's just perfect. It's soft enough that you can cut right through it, and yet no mess. I have my bowl full of tomatoes. I have more people playing with Play-Doh over there. I'm going to dump all of these into my pot, chop up the rest, get this on a low simmer, fill this pot, and hopefully there's enough room for just one batch for today. My pot overfloweth, but this is all going to cook down. I opted to not peel my cherry tomatoes. I've done it before, but I am going to blend this down. If you can see how big this pot really is, there's my finger against this pot. It's huge. So I'm going to blend and puree all of these skins into nothingness, and I don't mind them. My family doesn't mind them. We don't even mind if our pasta sauce is a little bit chunky. I'm going to put those on a low simmer and let them begin to cook down. I do have a couple of bags over here still left of these tomatoes, so I'm going to throw them back in the freezer, add them to the others, and maybe I'll make a bunch of salsa later. We still have some salsa from the last time I canned it, but it is running low, so maybe that's a good thing as well. I'm loosely going to set my lid on top of this, and I'm going to begin to grate these carrots. I'm going to use a lot of organic carrots in this pasta sauce. You won't really taste them, but I am going to make mine low sugar and let the sweet carrots take the place of some of that sugar. They do kind of compensate for a low sugar pasta sauce, and I don't want all of that sugar in it. By the way, this is a great time to hide all of those veggies because you really don't taste them in the pasta sauce. And, well, children love tomato pasta sauce. So it's a fantastic time just to hide peppers and carrot and onions. So I'm going to add 3 onions. They can be roughly chopped because we're going to puree all of this anyways at the end. And remember to freeze those onions before you chop them so that you don't have tears, and you must freeze them for 24 hours for that trick to work. And then we are going to add all of the garlic. I will have a recipe linked below, but you can alter this a little bit to your taste by adding things like peppers or less garlic, more onion, whatever speaks to you. I'm going to put a little bit of crushed red pepper in here. You don't have to do that either, but we like things with a little bit of a kick. Now I'm going to add a few handfuls of all of that fresh basil that we grew in the garden this year. I'm so excited to be able to do that. Now I'm going to dump in several tablespoons of Italian seasoning, and I'm going to add some oregano. You can go moderate on this and taste your sauce at the end and see if you'd like to add more. I'm doing a lot of tomatoes here, so I'm going to have to go pretty heavy. I'm probably going to add some at the end, but light for now. I'm going to add my red sea salt as well. We love this. All of that natural good for you salt. Something else you don't get out of that canned spaghetti sauce at the store. All of the good for you things. After all, that's why we do it, right? To make things that are good for our families. Speaking of which, here is my toddler. She is always underfoot holding her blankie, and that's just where I like her. So these are on that low simmer still, and they are starting to get all of that liquid released. You can see all of that water. Again, we're going to reduce all of that down over time. It's going to take a few hours to cook this down. Okay, it's cooked down enough. It is 6 o'clock since I last did this. It was about 2 hours ago. I'm going to go ahead and add my carrot because now there is room for it. Now I'm going to puree all of this with my hand mixer. It's been about 45 minutes since I added the carrots. This can be as thick or as thin as you would like it. It all has to do with your preference. It really doesn't matter. And then I am going to add about 3/4 of a cup of cane sugar, organic cane sugar, yay. It does need a little bit of sugar, in my opinion, for it to get the right taste. Now I'm going to add some lemon juice. Again, the recipe is below if you want to use my main base recipe that I'm using. I'm also going to add some black pepper. And here it is. This is the consistency I'm going to leave it at. So if you see a few you see those strings in there? Those are those cherry tomato peelings. We don't mind them, but if that is something you mind, then you definitely want to peel those cherry tomatoes. All right, I'm setting up shop over here. I'm getting ready to finally can those tomatoes. Because of all of the veggies I've added, I will have to use a pressure canner. Here's my new handy dandy pressure canner. Would you believe I haven't used it yet? Because I'm scared to death of it. So today is the day that I'm going to use it for the first time. I do always sterilize everything. I know they say you don't have to do that anymore, but I have never had a jar not seal, so I'm not going to change my ways. So I am just cleaning those rims with that boiling water really quick. And here is the unboxing of my Presto Pressure Canner. If you want one like this, I'll be sure to link it below for you to see. The directions say to add 3 quarts of water before you begin. So I'm adding my 3 quarts, and now I've added all of my jars. And now I'm going to get this lid on. My little white sealer thing is broken. I don't know if that's going to affect anything, so we'll see how that goes. Not a good way to start. Now I'm trying to bring my pressure canner up to temperature. It is 10:49. I am still going. When did we start this? 1 o'clock this afternoon? I meant to start earlier, but here we are. So I had to do all of the kid things in school because we are a homeschooling family this morning. And that caused me to start later than I wanted, but that's okay. All right, it is the next day. I put all of those cans of pasta in the fridge to do the next day because that first batch took until midnight and I wasn't going to stay up till 3 or 4 a.m. doing the rest of it. So I have the jars in that water next to me trying to warm them up because I do not want to put a cold jar into that pressure canner. This is the first batch that was pressure canned, nice and thick like I wanted it. So I have one batch warming up and one batch that's already warmed up, and I have that in the pressure canner right now. So 3 batches total, and I have removed the rings from this first batch. You always want to remove your rings so that you don't get a false seal. That's important. All right, guys, there it is, 21 jars of red pasta sauce. I'm going to try to make this last us a year. I'm not sure if it will, but hopefully this is a year of our pasta sauce. And if so, I am so pleased with that. It only took me 2 days to complete. It took forever to pressure can all of this, but so worth it. And I am so excited to have this with all of my canned things. I am working on filling all of this back up. It was looking a little bit low. I haven't canned in a while. Again, that hot summer, I didn't want to. It was too hot this summer. So now I have it all going. This is my seeds. I always seed save from my garden, so a lot of this is seeds as well. But so excited. Such an accomplishment. Yay, doing all the things. Until next time, guys. Bye.
Shining bright like a shine, dreaming high like the stars.